What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I go by New Voices, and today I will be bringing you my first guide, and this guide is for Genji. And you might be wondering, why should I listen to you? Well, first off, I have more than 40 hours of experience with Genji, and I will be covering things that I have not seen in other guides, such as damage calculation, these minor details that can really help you improve your Genji gameplay. We've all seen those insanely good Genjis, and that is why I want to cover him, because he has so much potential if you know how to play him right. Note that this guide will be more focused towards the people that already know the basics of Genji, so I won't be covering stuff like what his left shift does, what his right click does, you know, stuff like that. I'm just gonna keep it to where the advanced players can improve more. And so enough chit chatting, let's get right into it. So now the first thing I want to cover is actually the damage calculation. Now each shuriken does 28 damage, and altogether if you hit all three of them, 84 to a target. Your dash does 50 damage, and each slice with your dragon strike does 120 damage to an enemy. This ultimately means that most enemies will die from one dash and 2 dragon strike slices. And what a lot of people don't know is that not only kills reset the dash, but the ultimate as well. So as you can see in this clip, I start off by going in with my dash, using my dragon strike to reset my dash, meaning that I have an extra dash ready for whenever I need it. And like I previously mentioned, a dash, a slice, another slice would probably mean death, but in some cases enemies will have lower health. That's why it's really good to have an extra dash instead of using your ultimate and then dashing in, because that will leave you with one less dash to use, and since it's 50 damage, it's actually quite a lot. It's a fourth of Zenyatta's HP, for example. Another great thing to think about when you're going in a team fight is to constantly dash between every kill. Like, even if you don't want to dash out of the team fight, you can still dash into the ground. And why you do this is because you don't want to waste any damage. This of course is if it's inside the Zarya ult, for example, and you don't want to like dash out of it, like leaving you outside of the actual ultimate. And as well as double jumping as constantly as you can, you want to make sure that you slice and use the dash right after to cancel the animation of the actual slice. Now you don't always have a Zarya ult to help you out, and that is why Genji requires a lot of spontaneous actions. And honestly, these actions can only be implemented in your brain by actually playing a shitload of Genji, and you will automatically improve as to where you want to be at what moment. Also remember to always analyze your team before going in, because the strongest threats for Genji are Winston, Torbjorn, Symmetra, also Mei and Zenyatta ultimates, Junkrats and Roadhogs. Now also one thing to note when dashing into an enemy team, and this is why analyzing it is extremely useful, is that for example, if you kill a Junkrat, his passive will automatically explode, right? This meaning that if you're inside of a Zarya ult with all of your damage, you're just in there. If you're not paying attention, you will die to that passive. Like in most cases, if you don't double jump, you will die. You can also of course reflect if you're aware of like the HP of Junkrat, but in a lot of situations it will be a complete mess and you won't know who is who inside of there. You just want to kill everything. That is also why being greedy is good and bad in a lot of situations with Genji. Now you want to also note that Genji isn't only used for flanking. Like in most cases you want to stay with your team in the beginning, because your team, it is a team game after all. Like you want to stay and help your team push through, and once you see opportunities, that's when you want to strike, because in most cases when you just run in blindly and they actually had a Torbjorn there or Symmetra turrets here, or you know, it's really hard to actually do something useful at least. So then maybe the next question for you is, when is a good time to go in? How do I see these opportunities to go in? And that's where you have to think of Genji as the assassin that he is. He has a purpose within the game to take out the specific targets at certain points. That is also why knowing counter picks is really good, because in most cases people will choose a Genji for Bastions, choose a Genji for Widows, or choose a Genji for Hanzos or even Mercies. So it's good that you know your role in the game and stick to it. Now, another question I've been getting from people within my social circle that I've been talking to while playing is when to actually ult. And what you want to note is where the position of the entire enemy team is. Because if you don't know, you won't know where to dash to while resetting all of your slices, because the pace of a Genji, once you like practice and practice, and it gets in like, there's something called muscle memory, where you will remember how certain things are by default, sort of. And that's when you need to learn how to use your dashes efficiently, and you can only do that by knowing where your enemies are prior to your ultimate. Or, as I also mentioned, being spontaneous, as Genji is an extremely spontaneous character in my opinion. So the next question I've been getting a lot is, when do I use my left click and when do I use my right click? And it's as simple as, being from afar, you want to usually use your left click, as it more works as a sniping kind of skill. And then in close combat, you want to use your right click in most cases anyway. And it's because you can get 3 shurikens out at once at a faster speed, because I believe it's 0.7 seconds with your right click, and that is 0.2 seconds faster than using your left click. And in close combat situations, you want to be fast. You want to put damage on the board as fast as you can. Now, this is going to sound kind of stupid, but it's worth mentioning that when you play Genji or any other character, always aim for the heads. I mean, you'd say, oh yeah, of course, duh. But I've been in a situation before where I just wanted to hit the target. It didn't matter where I hit it, as long as I hit it, like to build up ult charge or whatever. But you want to always aim for the head, regardless of the situation. I mean, unless they're at like 10 HP, maybe just want to hit it. Like, if it's easier, don't go for the head in that case. But you know what I'm saying. Now, moving into when you want to actually assassinate a target without the ultimate. What you want to do is poke down your enemy with your shurikens, either right or left click, depending on the situation. And also using, as I've previously showed you guys in another video, where you can extremely quickly use your melee attack right after using a shuriken. But yeah, poke down your enemy, dash in when they're at like 50% HP. Stop. Hi, Neil Voices here. Now, I say you want to start by dashing in, but in most cases you want to save that till they have at least 50 HP left, because it's extremely useful to use your dash at the very last to reset it, because there are not many situations where one person is alone and you want your dash to get in or out, because you have your deflect, you also have your shurikens to deal a lot of damage before going in, so you're often safe before going in because of the kit that Genji provides. I hope that's not confusing to you. And unpause. It depends on the situation, if it's a tank or if it's a squishy target, it all depends. But say it's a Zenyatta, for the sake of explaining this. Typically a right click headshot with a melee attack will ultimately mean death when they're under 100 HP. I believe a melee attack is 30 damage, so that's also one thing to note. But basically, using your right click and a melee attack, they will most likely be dead when under 100 HP. Also, remember that your dash is extremely helpful for when you want to get out of situations. Don't ever think you're wasting your dash by dashing through a open space to like neglect possible damage, because there could be a McCree or a sniper there and you don't know that. So it's also very good to be on the safe side of every aspect with Genji. I forgot to put this in while I was recording, but basically use your dash for a percentage gain towards your ultimate as well. It can be really effective if like you dash through like 5 enemies, you'll gain massive ult charge. It's not really a problem getting out either, because you have a deflect. You'll most likely have like a lot of walls to climb. You'll have a lot of escape routes if you know what you're doing, basically. So also, another thing to note when playing Genji is to know where all of the health packs is. I mean, this is common sense for any character that you play, but Genji can benefit from health packs quite a lot, because he can't always have a healer on his ass, especially if he's flanking. So always note where all of the health packs are. Now, before I move on to the last thing I want to cover, One thing to note is use your wall climb to cancel the actual animation of your reloading. So like I've previously shown this in another video, like a tips and tricks video, but basically it saves you a lot of time, like knowing if you want to climb, you can climb when the number goes over to 24 after reloading. Like basically, if you haven't seen the video, every character has a full reload animation, but the reload actually happens before the animation is completed. With that being said, you don't have to complete the entire animation in order to reload fully. So utilize wall climbing as a source of saving time, basically. Now the final thing I want to cover today is bad manners, sprays, crouch, emotes, and why tilting is really good. And I don't mean it's good that you are tilting, but basically causing the enemy team to tilt is actually really good. Like, be honest, how many times have you tilted just by someone walking away while killing you as you watch your kill cam and they put a spray down, or they spam their crouch, or they use their voice line, or you know. What I'm trying to say is you really need to be a dick when playing Genji, because a lot of people will actually tilt really fucking hard because it's Genji and they can't do anything. So yeah, learn to BM the crap out of anyone you can. And yeah, so that is everything for this video actually, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below, if you have any other tips or tricks that I missed regarding Genji. And this was more focused towards like a majority of the more experienced players, so I hope that helped anyway, and I really appreciate all the support I'm getting lately, and I really appreciate a like on this video if you liked it, and let me know what you think about it. Also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my content. Also, I apologize for being extremely quiet in this video. It's basically 4 AM in the morning and I'm recording this, so I apologize. So yeah, this has been New Voices. Thank you for watching and peace.